विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै। 17th verse we were seeing yesterday. Avinashi tu tadviddhi yena sarvamidam tatam vinashamavyayasyasya na kaschit kartumarhati. So, avinashi tu tadviddhi yena sarvamidam tatam vinasham avyayasyasya na kaschit kartumarhati. Tadviddhi, may you know. May you know may you know this Atma, by the Atma by which entire world is yena, Atmana, by which the entire world is pervaded, and it is avinashi. May you know this Atma which pervades the entire universe, is indestructible. Indeed, tu means here indeed. Vinasham avyayasyasya yasya avyayasya vinasham na kaschit kartum arhati. No one can bring about the destruction of that which does not change. Vyaya means a change, and avyaya means which does not change. So no one can bring about the destruction of this Atma. This is what has been told. Now we will see that, of course we saw this verse, but we are going to see a little more. This word avinashi is very, very important. And right now what we are discussing, of course, in our Tattva Bodha also has some relevance here also. So, avinashi, in that there is a word nashaha. Nashaha means destruction. And we generally understand by destruction something which disappears totally. That's how our understanding is. Totally, it gets vanished. But actually, that's not the meaning in Sanskrit. Nasha word is formed from the root nash. Nash means, adarshani. It disappears. It is not evident to you in that form. That's all. Nash has this meaning. Like I will tell you, there is one handkerchief. And sometime in handkerchief happens that few fibers or few threads just come out. Few. If you pull them out, that this handkerchief is not going to get destroyed. But when you pull out all the threads, then definitely that gets totally, the handkerchief will be totally not evident to you. It will go. But it's not that the handkerchief has gone and nothing is left out. Something is left out. That's in form of a thread, bunch of threads. So here we can tell this handkerchief is destroyed. Nashaha. So here the nashaha means it is not evident to you. Handkerchief is not evident to you in the form of handkerchief. That's all. That's called nashaha. It is available in other form. And again, suppose all these threads, if you are able to connect together, through weaving, etc., you can make again the same handkerchief. So it indicates that basically this nashaha means not totally vanishing, not totally disappearing, living behind zero. It will not be. In our mind, that kind of understanding is there, but it is not so. So nash adarshane, that is the root, nash and adarshane. So not evident to you. Darshanam means evident. Adarshanam, not evident to you. Not evident in which form? In that particular form. It is not evident to you. Same way you can take another example, like a golden chain is there. Golden chain, and then suppose if you melt it, we say there is a destruction of a golden chain. Well, but then that chain is available in other form. So in that particular form, in a chain form has gone. Chain form is not evident to me. So that is called destruction of chain. Not totally living behind zero, totally vanishing, no residue left. No, that kind of a nasha is not there. It is this kind of a nasha is there only in our mind. Such thing is not there even by looking at the science also. But anyway, so this is how the thing is. And you say, no, Swamiji, that is not so, because here you have just pulled out the thread and you have, melted, and that's how you are getting some substance. But suppose I burn something. I burn the handkerchief, let's say. Now what? Now it has totally disappeared. No, it is in the form of ash. Yeah, it will be available. It is in the form of ash, it is in the form of atoms, it is in the form of molecules, it is in the form of energy, whatever you say. Some form it will continue. There will not be a total destruction of anything in the universe. Total destruction is not there. That particular form gets destroyed. It is not evident to you. It is not available for your perception, etc. Well, that we accept. But total destruction is not possible. They say, before so many years, I think before these English people have come to India, somebody from the olden days, in the Red Fort, Lal Killa in Delhi, they have put one candle light, and they have made such an arrangement that candlelight used to burn all the time, because from the candlelight whatever the smoke etc. was coming out, and that again gets converted into that what is that? Wax. That wax which burns, that wax again gets converted into after the smoke, it again gets converted into wax, and through that it keeps on burning. And these English people have come, and they thought, they were astonished, what is this? And they were trying to figure out the whole thing, but they could not. Then they broke open. because it was very closed way they have kept, so that the smoke of that wax will not vanish away, will not go out. And when they broke open this particular, the candle extinguished. And they tried to make it again, they could not make it. What I am saying is, ultimately, we feel that wax got burnt, and now that's how it has, nothing is left over, but no, it has got converted into a smoke, and then again that got converted to wax, and that's how it was going on. So we feel, so we can say the candle, this one, light has destroyed, but it will be all in the other forms. So, and that's how when you burn something, definitely the molecules, etc., which were together, they get separated and go away. And those molecules you are not able to see. So you feel that as though the thing has totally gets destroyed. But it is never so. It is at atomic level, molecule level, it is at energy level. It has got converted into that, and therefore it still exists. And this is how called adarshanam nasha. This is how it's called. Not evident to you in that particular form is called destruction. Nasha is equal to adarshanam. And avinashi means adarsanasya abhavaha. Avinashi again adds one more negation. Adarshanam means not evident to you. Avinashi means it is not evident to you, that is not. So two negations, and such two negations have come before also. Now again it has come. And we should know what two negations. Instead of using one affirmation, positively you put two negation. What does it mean? Actually what happens is, like in when a king, Bhoja was there, and that time they say in his kingdom they used to tell like this: in this kingdom there was no unlearned man, let's say. There was no illiterate person, let's say that way, that's better. There was no illiterate person in his kingdom. You tell that there are all literate people. Why are you saying like this? There is no illiterate person. But this is the way it should be told. Why? Because if you say that there are literate people in his kingdom, it doesn't give a sense that all are literate. When I say there are literate people in his kingdom, it doesn't give me a sense of a complete literary people. But when I say there is no illiterate people in his kingdom, definitely, it indicates that there are all literate people. And that's how Shastra has this method of using two negations. We have already seen one, Natve Vaham Jatunasam. There was never a time when you were not like that. Bhagavan should have told that you were existent before. You were existent before, you will exist in the future, you are existing right now. You should have told. But that does not give that sense of a existence forever. So when you write two negations, you can give that sense. That's how they use this way. And so Atma also, Avinashi means there was, Atma is ever evident, to indicate that they used to write this way, that there was no time when Atma was not evident. Right? Nashaha means adarshanam. Adarshanam means not evident. And avinashi or anashi indicates not that it is not evident. Means it is all the time evident. Atma is something which is ever evident. In fact, that's what we have seen in the morning. Atma, that's consciousness, is there in all the experiences. All waking experiences, all dream experiences, and sleep experiences, all the time. There is no experience in which you can say that there is no consciousness. It's all the time. Atma was there. Atma was evident. And therefore, objects get displaced. That's correct. But objects cannot displace consciousness. And therefore, in fact, because of consciousness, object becomes evident. And therefore, Atma or the self, which is ever evident, Atma is self-evident, and all other objects are evident after that. That's how we can say. Therefore, everything becomes an object of knowledge, because Atma is of the nature of consciousness, evident all the time. So that's how in morning also we said Atma is never a object of knowledge for, because it cannot be objectified. Of course, we are going to see in the next verse by the word aprameyaha. There we are going to further analyze this, that Atma is something which cannot be objectified in any case and need not be objectified. Also, we have said that. Anyway, so Atma is something which is ever evident. That's what it means. And if it is ever evident, there is no destruction at all. It is ever evident in all the experiences. Well, then definitely there is no destruction of the Atma. So Avinashi means ever evident, and therefore there is no destruction. And in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad it is very beautifully said, Nahi drashtuhu drashtehe viparilopo vidyate avinashitvad. Drashtuhu drashtehe. The sight of this seer never ceases to be, because it is avinashitvat, because it is ever evident. The sight of the seer never ceases to be. It is ever there, and that is indicated by, if you go to especially Vaishnava's temple, Srinathji or etc., or a Dakho temple, then you find the eyes are all the time open. And it indicates this, that Paramatma's drashti is all nitya. Paramatma is a nitya drashta, or he is ever evident, to indicate his eyes are shown all the time open. There will never be, what we call, it is not available. His eyes will never close anyway. So this is how it has been told. Atma is, we pay attention or not, that's a different thing, but Atma is invariably present in all the experiences, and therefore it is ever evident, and such Atma is not available for destruction. And then Bhaktas say, well, Atma is Paramatma. Yes, Atma is Paramatma. Then you are saying it is all the time evident. Then Paramatma is all the time evident. But we are really seeking his darshanam, and you are saying it is available all the time in all the experiences. We want just once, not even all the time we want his darshanam. We just want once, and we are struggling to say that. And you are saying even they give an example of Dhruv. Dhruv is something, he did so much severe penance, and after severe penance of I think 6 months or something, he gets once the darshana of Lord Vishnu or Paramatma. Atma is Paramatma. Then it is only he has given a darshanam to even Dhruva after several, after severe this one penance, and that too once, and you are saying it is available in all the experiences. Right now also it is ever evident. Yeah. Self is self-evident. You need not have to put any effort. Atma is Paramatma and is ever evident, is available for darshan. Well, we can't believe. Vedanta says, well, whole world is seen after Atma is seen. Atma is ever evident, Atma is self-evident, and there is no need of objectifying the Atma as such, and the entire world is evident after the Atma. Atma being evident to myself, and then only everything is evident to me. And that is how very beautifully told in both the Upanishads, in Kathopanishad and in Mundaka Upanishad also, Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya vasa sarvamidam vibhati, etc., etc. It has been told. So the whole world shines after him. Paramatma or Atma shines. That's his nature. To shine is his nature. And well, this world shines after him. We are going to see that tomorrow with eyesight, etc. For the tomorrow's class, we are going to analyze this mantra. So anyway, so Paramatma is something which is ever evident. Then Paramatma or Atma is ever evident, then I need not know why should I attend your classes? Well, Atma is just a consciousness, and you say it is ever evident. Then that's what you are going to tell me even after 10 years, that you are consciousness. Well, what is the big thing to know now? Therefore, then I get a moksha now, if you say so. Yeah. Vidyate hridaya granthi, chidyante sarva samshayaha, etc., etc. Well, So, by Atma Darshanam, I am going to get moksha, and you are saying it is all the time there is a darshanam of it, it is ever evident, then I need not have to do anything. Yes, but then Upanishad says, Pashyan api na pashyati. Even though you are seeing Atma, you are not seeing. And I have given you an example, if you remember, even though you are seeing a clay, still you are not seeing a clay. That's possible. Even though you are seeing a clay, still you are not seeing a clay. And I have given you an example, the person was, sweeping the floor. You remember? Suppose there is a hut, and in which, in India they used to do, in hut, the walls, they made of clay only. They put very thick walls of clay. The clay, of course, they make a paste kind of a thing and create. And floor also of clay. And there are pots also of clay. Everywhere there is a clay. Still this person sweeps the floor and says, now there is no more clay in the house. I mean, I have cleaned thoroughly. Well, so he is seeing the clay in the wall. He is seeing the clay in the pot. He is seeing the clay in the floor. Everywhere he is seeing the clay, and still he says there is no clay. This is how it is. This is how it is. So, Pashyan api na pashyati. Even though he sees clay, still he doesn't see the clay. And therefore, same way, even though Atma is ever evident, but still, the vision, in my vision, is as though blocked by the Maya. Therefore, instead of Atma, I see the creation, I see the world, etc. And therefore, I am not able to see the Atma which is ever evident in everything. So, in reality as such, while seeing the pot, I am seeing clay. We are not seeing pot. We should understand this very well. We are not seeing the pot because there is no really pot there. So if you touch the pot, it is you are touching the clay. You are seeing a pot, you are seeing a clay actually. You are smelling a pot, you are smelling the clay. You are tasting a pot, I am saying you are tasting a clay only. You are lifting a pot, I am saying you are lifting a clay. Weight of the pot is weight of the clay. Touch of the pot is touch of the clay. And everything, I mean, smell of the pot is smell of a clay basically. And everything is clay. So while you are seeing a pot, you are not seeing a pot. In fact, you are seeing a clay. Because there is no real pot. That's what Chandogya Upanishad has told very beautifully. Vacharambhanam vikaro namadeyam mrittika ityeva satyam. Vacharambhanam. Since if there is a really an object called pot, then definitely will tell that you are seeing a pot and therefore you could not see the clay. Yes, then it is okay. If there is a real pot, then definitely it covers the vision of the clay. We could understand. But Vacharambhanam vikaraha namadeyam. Namadeyam means namamatram. You have a word pot, but there is no object called pot. That's what we want to convey. There is we know that there is namamatram means, vikaraha namamatram means whatever is created, so called, is just clay only, and therefore, in reality, and therefore Vacharambhanam means vakeva alambanam. The pot or this effect or the creation called pot has a beginning only in the words. There is a word called pot, yes, but there is no object called pot. Nama is there, but object is not there. And therefore, even so it is just a clay, but your vision as though is covered. Your vision is covered, and therefore we call it as that's how we say that even Pashyan api na pashyati, even though it is ever evident, clay is ever evident, and still you say it is pot. That's how it is. And same way Atma is also ever evident, and still I say there is a world, but there is no. I'm not able to see the Atma, even though it is self-evident. That is possible. And what is the reason for it? That's avidya. This is how the Maya works. Because the entire creation is made up of Maya. It's Maya creation, and therefore it doesn't allow the darshanam, or it makes as though the Atma, which is ever though, in fact, even it is ever evident, but still I am not able to see it. And therefore, in fact, if Paramatma is or Atma is not evident, one will not be able to see the creation. Because of the consciousness, you are able to see everything. Because of the consciousness, knowledge takes place. Because of consciousness, experience takes place. And therefore, you have thousands and thousands of experience. Well, in all the experience, this is just Atma alone. Without Atma, no object you will ever know. No object you will ever experience. That's how in morning we said, there is a form experience and there is smell experience and there is this experience, that experience, touch experience. Therefore, all these experiences are possible when consciousness is right there. So form consciousness, smell consciousness, this consciousness is ever there. Without consciousness, no experience takes place. And still, we say we don't know consciousness. It is even though self-evident, we don't know. We say, otherwise, if consciousness is not there, the whole world is not there. That's all. It only lends an existence to everything. It lends an illumination to everything. So world shines, world has existence because of the consciousness. And still we feel that consciousness is not evident. It's just due to Maya. So now what is this consciousness? We can just see, because it has been told, Yena sarvamidam tatam. By this consciousness, by this Atma, everything is pervaded. It has been told. What happens is, if you take any object, you just take any object, then our first thing is clip is. I can say first thing is clip is. And then a clip is illuminated, clip is shining, etc. Or clip is evident, you can say. And clip, I like the clip. The three things are there. Clip is evident, and I like the clip. That's three things are there. Asti, bhati, priyam. The three things are there in any object. Right now, whatever is in my table, everything has asti, bhati, and priyam. All the things. And this asti, of course, if you remove the asti from any object, the easiness, if you remove from any object would not remain. Object would not remain. And therefore, then if you remove the bhati, it shines or evident. If that you remove, well, then also object would not remain. And therefore, if it is not priyam also, it would not be there with me. Right? We'll come to that priyam part later. So asti is called sat. When I say clip asti or pustakam asti, whatever, pustakam asti, then definitely that asti is that Atma, Sat. Without that, no existence of the book or clip, anything. Then bhati means chit. It is evident. That's called chit. Everything, as I told you initially also I told you that Atma is self-evident and everything is evident behind the self. And therefore, because of the self, everything is evident. And therefore, whatever is evident to you is because of Atma. Atma is self-evident. And everything is evident to you because of the self. Well, self is self-evident. And therefore, this is also evident to you. It becomes an object of your knowledge. Evident means it is an object of your knowledge. First thing is, it is that existence itself is borrowed from the Atma. And also, it is evident means because of Atma is evident, it has an evidence, and therefore, so Atma is basically Sat and Chit. The Sat and Chit both are present in this. And Atma, and of course the clip is Priyam. Clip, you like the clip because it serves a certain purpose. Anything in the creation which is, everything is mithya, and while defining this world, I have already told you that any object which is mithya has a certain purpose. Need not be a purpose for a particular human being. There are thousands and thousands of living beings are there. So what you dislike, the other living being likes. Well, I will tell you that. So anyway, so if you take these two things, asti and bhati, sat and chit, even if you remove this becomes zero. Even if you just remove asti from this, is you remove from this, well, nothing remains there. And bhati, if you remove, nothing remains there. and of course Priyatvam also is associated with it. So the entire world is evident because of Asti Bhati or Satchit, which is residing in this. This form is evident to you. This form has certain existence. All this due to Atma. Atma being present in the form of Satchit in all the objects. In all the objects it is there. Commonly present in all. So entire world, different objects are pervaded by this Satchit. Pervaded by Satchit. And therefore, Yena Sarvamidam Tatam, Bhagavan says, it is, Atma is present in all that. And now, of course, now we'll go to Priyam also. Because that's a big issue. Well, Asti Bhati, there is no problem. You will immediately accept. If I say Asti Bhati is here, Asti Bhati is there, Asti Bhati is there, you will accept it. But, so Satchit, etc. is there, you will accept it. But Priyatvam, how can I say? When I bring the word Priyatvam, definitely Ananda also comes. Because whatever is object of a like, it should give me Ananda also. That's how it goes together. Therefore, certain objects I just dislike. Then how can you say there is Ananda also in that? I don't have a Priyatvam in that. Like thorns, like poison, like snake. I don't like that. I don't like this virus. So how can you say that Priyatvam is there? So Priyatvam brings the Ananda in that. I like this object if it gives me Ananda. So when I say I have Priyatvam, I like this object, definitely its nature also should be Ananda. And therefore Satchit I have understood, but Ananda I am not able to understand. And therefore we say the Ananda is, you need not derive Ananda from every object in the creation, but some other living beings definitely derive. Like you like the particular fruit. Here I have seen the mango of a Peru or a Brazil, a big mango, available right now also. Huge mango. And so you like mango very much. But suppose you find from the smell itself, you have not cut the mango. From the smell you realize that this mango has now, and it has deteriorated. It has, it has not good to eat now, because there are some insects, etc. may be there, and so you want to throw, and definitely you throw it also. But you should remember that particular worm or whatever the insect are there, for them it is heaven. That's how they are there. So this particular mango you don't like, that's correct. It may not give you Ananda, that's correct. But these living beings which are there inside, they definitely derive Ananda from that. Even the thorns, we just don't like the thorns. But this camel, they eat the thorns. I have seen that in India. Camel eat the thorns. From acacia or that kind of trees are there which has big thorns. The camel eat that. So this is how it is. There are certain poisonous substances in which also there are living beings. Poisonous substances. For us it is definitely poison. I don't like it. I don't have Priyatvam in that. But there are living beings. They thrive there. They live on this kind of substances, and they grow also. They have big family also in that. Very big families. Several generations they are living in that. Several generations together. Therefore, there is no object in the creation which does not derive, which does not make happy to one or other living being. It will be there. So Priyatvam also will be associated with it, but every object may not be for you, maybe for other living being. And if Priyatvam is there, if particular object is liked by some living being, definitely that object must be giving some happiness to that living being. And therefore Satchidananda or Astipati Priyam is present in all the living beings. Every object serves a certain purpose for one or other living being, and therefore definitely it will have a Priyatvam. When something serves the purpose, my Priyatvam will be definitely there. And the Mithya definition we have seen, it is put together intelligently so that it serves a purpose. And therefore it is serving a purpose for the living being. And therefore Priyatvam is there. They must be deriving a happiness also out of that. Ananda also they must be deriving. And that's how Satchidananda Atma is present in all the objects. Present in objects? No. In objects means you can remove them and still object will remain. No, because you just remove the sat, you just remove the asti while the object goes. And therefore all the forms in the creation are the forms of Satchidananda only. Asti Bhati Priyam. All the forms are associated with Satchidananda. I mean, associated means form is just a mithya thing. And of course, name also is given by a human being. And so, name and form is totally dependent upon this Asti Bhati Priyam. Yena sarvam idam tatam, by which yena atmana sarvam idam tatam. Tatam means, I told you, vyaptam, pervaded. So, by this Atma, which is Satchidananda, by which everything is pervaded. And what is that Atma? Which is indestructible, which is ever evident in everything, and because of which the whole world is evident. Such Atma is by that Atma everything is pervaded. And then and this has been told in a Upanishad. This all-pervading Atma has been told in Upanishad very beautifully. Like in Chandogya Upanishad, especially in the 7th chapter, this has been told how the Atma is all-pervading. First they use the pronoun called Saha. Saha is there. Saeva adhastat, sa uparishtat, sa paschat, sa purastat, sa dakshinatah, sa uttarataha, sa eva idam sarvam iti. Saeva adhastat, saha, that Atma is adhastat, that is below. Saha uparishtat, that is above. Saha paschat, that is at the back. Saha purastat, that is at the front. Saha dakshinatah, that's at the right side. That's on the right side. Sa uttarataha, that's on the left side. Atma is present in all directions. And therefore it is all pervading. Saeva idam sarvam, whatever you see, they are all just forms, appearances of Atma Satchidananda only. Because when you remove asti from that, the form itself doesn't remain. Therefore it shows, if I remove the clay, the whole part goes. Therefore the clay alone is in this form. That's all. Same way Atma, which is Satchidananda, which is Asti Bhati Priyam, there is nothing other than Asti Bhati Priyam in the creation. When you remove just Asti or Bhati, nothing remains. There is only, what remains is zero. And therefore all the forms you see in the creation, they are the forms of Asti Bhati Priyam. And therefore Atma is pervading, all pervading, unlike Akasha. Unlike, not like Akasha. Akasha is not all pervading, I want to convey. That's how I said unlike. Because if Akasha is all pervading, entire creation, you would not find any other element other than Akasha. But you find other elements are there. More than Akasha, every other thing are there. Vayu is there, Agni is there, Jalam is there, everything is there. Air, water, fire, everything is there. And therefore Akasha is not all pervading. Really all pervading thing is Atma. So if you remove just Asti Bhati Priyam, for namesake, you cannot remove it. Like I cannot remove clay from the pot. It's for understanding. You cannot remove. I am removing Swamiji now from clay. So you cannot remove it. But think like that way. That if clay is not there, what will be the existence of pot? There is no pot. Well, then I say pot is all pervaded by clay. That is a real pervasion. That's a real pervasion, without which the form itself will not exist. And therefore, Asti Bhati Priyam is something, or Satchidananda is something by which the entire creation is pervaded. And unlike Akasha, we cannot think of that way. And therefore, any form is pervaded by Akasha. Here, any form is pervaded by Atma means if the Atma is in this particular form, without that, the form doesn't exist. If Akasha is not there, the form can exist. Form can exist. A very, very solid thing in which, let's say the Akasha is absent, let's say that for time's sake, but it may remain with the other elements. But this is something, and where Akasha cannot pervade where the other elements are, and therefore, definitely, Akasha is not all pervading. Atma alone is really all pervading. And then that has been told even in the Mundaka also, that has been told in Bhuma Vidya, of course, in the 7th chapter in the Chandogya, very beautifully says. Of course, that Atma is like that which is in the front and which is at the back and which is at the right, in the right side and which is at the left side and everything it has been told, which is above, which is below. It has been told, and then immediately in the Bhuma Vidya it has been told, not that. Aham eva adhastat, aham uparishtad, aham paschad, aham purastad, aham dakshinatah, aham uttaratah, aham eva idam sarvam. Whatever is there is me alone. So don't think that. It is not that. But does a finger that aham alone, that consciousness alone is this, everything. Consciousness or Satchidananda is alone. Of course, we are going to derive that Sat and everything tomorrow morning. But what I am saying is that consciousness alone is something which is all pervading. All the forms are the forms of consciousness. All the forms are dependent upon consciousness. Without consciousness, which is really existence, without that no form is independently existing. And therefore they are all the Sat, they are Mithya. I am the Sat. Atma eva satyam tadanyat sarvam mithya. That has been very beautifully said. And of course, if you say aham and that, then if you still have some problem, then Chandogya in the 3rd mantra, in the Bhuma Vidya itself told, Atma eva adhastat, Atma eva uparishtat, Atma eva paschad, Atma purastad, Atma dakshinatah, Atma uttaratah, Atma eva idam sarvam iti. Aham, don't think that aham means ahankara. Ego cannot pervade everything. This aham means Atma, and Atma means this consciousness. Well, that alone is pervading everything. So, yena sarvamidam tatam, very beautifully said in this. Now, let's go to the 18th verse. Antavanta ime dehaha nityasyokta sharirinaha anashino prameyasya tasmadyudhyasva bharata. Antavanta ime dehaha. This dehaha, what we have to first analyze the word dehaha. Dehaha word has been formed from 2 roots. First root is dih and other root is da. Dih root also, from dih the root we get a word dehaha, and the meaning of the dih root is upachaya, to increase, to grow. So from that word deha has come. Deha means what? Which by combining different limbs which grows, it's called deha. Upachaya means to grow. This body is something which grows by what? By adding a components, by adding the constituents. Constituents of what? By adding the constituents of the body. If you add the constituents of the body, body grows. If you add earth, if you add water, if you add fire, then this body grows. So deha means which grows by adding the constituents. Because dih dhatu has a meaning to grow. So one which grows is deha. That's what it means. But how can growth takes place? By adding the constituents. Constituents of the body. There are constituents of the body. How many constituents? 5 constituents. If you add that, well, it grows. Weight increases. Volume increases, right? We know that very sure. Weight and volume definitely increases if we add the constituents of the body. Well, and therefore, this body is made up of 5 elements. As such, you know very well, but we'll have to ascertain the body has 5 elements first. And then other things you will definitely understand that if I add those constituents, then definitely it will increase. First thing is, body has a earth element. How will you know? How can you prove that body has earth element? Prithvi Tattva. How can you prove? Very simple thing is, body has its own smell. This because the smell is an attribute of the earth. Wherever the smell is, even in the water, if you find some smell, think that there is some earthen element in that. In Vayu also, if you have some smell in air, take it for granted that it has a certain earthen element in terms of at least molecules, etc. That's how, we put an incense stick on the one corner and the whole room becomes full of fragrance. So the fragrance comes out of the incense stick, which is made up of a certain chemicals. And therefore, those by burning, it gets converted into, the molecules are separated. When you burn something, this is a process in science. When you burn, the molecules which are together, between them the bond, whatever the bond is there, gets broken and they are separated. That's how. So it comes to the molecular level. The particular chemical by burning goes to the molecular level, and when they get converted goes to the molecular level, then it spreads in the air. So if air has a fragrance or whatever, then water has a fragrance, then definitely you should consider there is an earthen element, because tatra gandhavati prithvi, it has been told very beautifully in Nyaya Shastra, tatra gandhavati prithvi. The earth is possessing gandhavati. What is in this is a suffix added for possession. Bhagavat. So one who possesses bhaga, 6 bhaga is called Bhagavat, means Bhagavan. Dhanavat, from that word has come Dhanavan. Original word is Dhanavat. One who possesses wealth is called Dhanavan. Anyway, it's the same way Gandhavati, one which possesses Gandha or the smell. And therefore, basically, in body there is a smell. And of course, very beautiful thing is, so far as the Jivatma is there, consciousness is there, so far as the body is conscious, this somehow the smell, remains a little, suppressed. When once it becomes, once the conscious being leaves, then it gives a terrible smell. And even without also we know if 3-4 days person doesn't take bath, then definitely you feel this. Other also will come to know about it. And so, so definitely that is there. And also now we'll have to think in terms of food. Food is a more earthen element. So when you take this food, definitely body grows, weight increases, etc. And suppose if you do fasting, for some days you don't take the food, you don't add the earth element in that, and you just take water, etc., or whatever juices, etc., still you will find the body's weight decreases. So by adding earthen element, which is a constituent of the body grows. Therefore it is called deha. First thing, one which grows by adding the constituent is called body, and gets called deha. And now, and this body is not just made up of this earthen element, there is a water also in that. That also we can know. In the summer, if suppose the electricity has gone, and in India, I am talking here, it may not be so, but in India, and then the fan doesn't work, within few seconds the person starts a lot of perspiration. So water which is present in there comes out. And of course, what is the inside also. Water is in varieties of forms in the body itself. It's in saliva in one form, in mucosa in another form, and then in blood it is in third form, and in urine it is another form. So water is present in many forms. And water is something which is giving the shape up to the body. We should remember, if water goes away, then the shape of the body cannot be the same shape. Water is giving the shape to the body. That's how people sometimes say, Swamiji, this part is swollen and that part is swollen, etc. So that's a water retention we call. So the body has a shape due to water. Anyway, so there is another thing. And the water is something which is called life also. and therefore if excess water goes out through dysentery, etc., well, the person's life becomes a danger. That's how for water they say, Jivanam, Bhuvanam, Vanam, Kabandam, Udakam, Padaha. This will told Jivanam. Water is called Jivanam. It gives a life. Then the third thing is, the third constituent is Agni Tattva. Fire.
Just your recent experience that I couldn't quite summarize.
So, in Chandogya it has been very beautifully told that three things are in the body which is made up of fire element. Very nicely, the model of Chandogya is extremely good. How we eat the food, and out of the food, what part of the food makes what of the body, that is very beautifully described. So, they say Asthi, Majja and Vak. These three things are there. And that is, all the three are made up of a fire element. Asthi means this bone, Majja means the marrow, and Vak means this our sense organ of action called Vagindriya. These three things are made up of fire element. And so, then fourth is Vayu Tattvam. Vayu Tattvam. I mean, Vayu Tattvam is which sometimes we say, the bulging of the stomach and etc. etc. is due to Vayu Tattvam. And as such, Vayu for that need not be told, because all our respiration, inhalation, etc. and exhalation, we can very well feel that Vayu is inside. And because prana, of course, it is in the form of prana. And therefore, so while giving the meaning of the word Jiva, we have given the meaning Jiva Prana Dharane. So prana, apana, vyana, udana, etc. All these are present in the body and doing the physiological action. And that is how the air of also, Vayu Tattvam also is there. And the fifth one is Akasha. We say that after eating, we say that no, now there is no space inside. Well, so by that we say immediately that we automatically say there is no space. And in fact, the definition of Akasha given by the Nayayika is very beautiful. Avakasha Pradatrutvam Akashasya Lakshanam, they call. Avakasha Pradatrutvam, which provides space, which provides accommodation, is called Akasha. And therefore, well, so that Akasha which is there, which provides the accommodation to the food at least, to the water. So that's how we are adding and we are eating, it just goes inside and it gets accommodated. Therefore, Akasha is also very much there. And Shabda Gunakam, Akasham, etc. also. And therefore, if Akasha is there, there will be sound, definitely. And if you want to hear the sound which is inside, people used to put, the two fingers like this and hear the voice inside, which is going on. I mean, it is there, and otherwise also we know of this thing. So these five elements are there, and this with these five constituents, which grows is called Deha. And well, then Deha also is another meaning, Dahyamanatva Deha. This one, first one is, now the second meaning is Dahyamanatva. Dah, there is a root called Dah. This particular definition of Deha has been given in Niruktam, that's a Vedic dictionary. There they have given this meaning. Dahyamanatva Deha. This is, Yaska has given this meaning, very beautiful. Daha Sanskara. We have a 16 Samskara, Shodasha Samskara, and which has been given to this body. So in that Antim Samskara. Samskara means as such, purification basically. So body is, when it is born or it is in the it is in the womb of a mother, it's very impure. So it has to pass through 16 processes of purification. Of course, the last one in which the body becomes totally impure because prana leaves, then the conscious being also leaves, and therefore it becomes very, very impure. And therefore it has been given to the fire. And so the object which has been given to this fire, the body which has been given to the fire, that's how it is called Deha. Because Daha means to burn. Daha means to burn. So Dahyamanatva Deha, which is ultimately given to the fire, is called Deha. And that's how in Ishavasya very beautifully told, Atha idam basmantam shariram. Ishavasya it has been very idam shariram basmantam, it will become ashes, which becomes ashes lastly. So the last samskara we call antim samskara, or the 16th samskara is this daha samskara. It has been given to the, because it has become too impure and therefore it cannot be kept anywhere. We cannot make the tomb also. So ultimately it should be burnt. So one which gets burnt is called deha. One which grows through the constituents also is called deha. That we have seen the first definition, and this is second definition. Antavanta ime deha sharirinaha. So antavanta ime deha, this body are antavanta. They ultimately, their death is certain, etc. Well, that part we'll see tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Hari Om.